Yeah, go ahead, read some more there.
It says, to caution against danger or error, warn.
Because see, that's what you're doing for your children. You're doing this in the Lord, though. You know, you caution them and you teaching them what is to come. So, you know, teach them how they're supposed to act so they don't get in trouble when they get out in the world. You start training them like when they're a child. You start training them like this.
Yes, sir.
We didn't, you know, our mothers and fathers, they trained us too. I mean, you know, look at us. You know, we still here. You understand? Most of us doing well. You know, I put it like this. We all got a place to lay our head. We all got some food in our refrigerators, don't we?
Hallelujah.
So mama and daddy, they brought us up right. But they didn't, a lot of them bring us up in this, though. They didn't bring us up in this. Go ahead. You finish that?
It says to charge authoritatively, exhort.
To charge authoritatively and to exhort. So that's what admonish means. But you got to do this in the Word of God, though. You know, if you don't, then you might find yourself what they call abusing a child if you don't. That's why, you know, you got to admonish them in the Lord, because a lot of parents, they abuse their children. That's why if you do it according to what the Lord said, then you won't be abusing them. You understand what I'm saying? So he said, admonish them, nurture and admonish them in the Lord. Let's go now. Let's go to Numbers, the first chapter, because you know, first thing off is you want to know then what do we consider a child? What age do we consider a child? Let's go to Numbers, the first chapter. And this is something that we gauge it with. Numbers, the first chapter. Numbers 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse, turn it the other way.
Wait a little bit.
Numbers, the first chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Numbers 1 and 1. And this is something that we use to gauge, you know, that we use to gauge, to show you what's considered a child. I've got a lot of distractions.
I'm sorry.
What do we gauge? What do we use to gauge to show you that what a child is, or what age? So this is something that we use to gauge it with. We're going to Numbers, the first chapter, verse 1. Numbers 1 and 1. Go ahead and read that.
And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls, from 20 years old and upward.
From 20 years old and upward. So this is what we use, one of the things we use to gauge the age from a child to a man. So when you turn 20 years old, you're kind of responsible for yourself, because look what he's going to say, though. Look what he's going to say. Read that verse 3. Start at verse 3 again. Go ahead.
Verse 3. From 20 years old and upward. All that are able to go forth to war in Israel.
See there? All those that are able to go off to war from 20 years old and upward. And that's a big thing, ain't it? You know, you got to be a man to go off to war, don't you?
Teach.
He said 20 years old and upward. So if you're 19 and younger, then you still consider a child. So this lets me know right here, this is something right here that I can use to gauge in order to show you when a man can start becoming a man. Because the Lord ain't going to send no child off to war. So he said, from 20 years old and upward, all those that are able to go forth to war. Go ahead.
Thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies.
Skip down to verse 18. Go ahead. So he want to get a man from each tribe, and he's going to get all these people together. From 20 years old and upward. Skip down to verse 18. He's going to get each one from a tribe, each man from each tribe, and get the ones that's 20 years old and upward that's able to go out to war. Verse 18.
18.
Uh-huh.
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
Uh-huh.
And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
Go ahead.
According to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward.
From 20 years old and upward. Skip down to verse 20. Go ahead.
By their polls.
Uh-huh.
And the children of Reuben, Israel's eldest son, by their generations after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, by their polls, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war.
See, so we're not going to read all of this. I mean, you know, we had to go through 12 sons, so we just going to read the first one. Skip down to verse 45. But you see what he said? 20 years old and upward, that are able to go to war. Verse 45. Go ahead and read it.
45. So were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war in Israel. So
this is one of the scriptures that we use in order to gauge from that when a man starts becoming a man. 20 years old and upward. So if you 19 on down to 1 month or whatever, you still considered a child. You still considered a child. Now, I know the laws that we got here in this country and everything, 21 years old, but you understand you can't do this, you can't do that till you're 21. I understand that. But look at what the Lord is saying, though. 20 years old and upward. Let's go now. Let's go to, let's look at it again. Let's go to Numbers, the 14th chapter. Numbers 14. And we're going to pick it up in verse 2. Numbers 14 and 2. Numbers 14 and 2. Go ahead and read.
And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in the wilderness.
Now this is when the children of Israel were carried off into the wilderness now, and they had just come out of Egypt. So now they're hungry. So they, you know, which God we had died in Egypt. But go ahead and read.
Verse 3. And wherefore have the Lord brought us into this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Where is it not better for us to return into Egypt?
Go ahead, see, because he getting ready to give them the land, so he had Joshua and Caleb to go spy this land out.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, and then some of the men that came back with Joshua and Caleb from checking the land out, they brought back a bad report. So they like, well, you know, we wish we had died in Egypt, and, you know, murmuring. They started murmuring against the Lord. They were murmuring against Aaron and Moses, but really it was murmuring against the Lord, because the Lord is the one who instructed Moses and Aaron, isn't he?
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 4. And they said one to another, let us make us a captain, and let us return into Egypt.
See, you know, they want to go back in bondage. The Lord has set them free, getting ready to give them this land, and they want to go back into bondage. But go ahead and read.
Verse 5. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes.
They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. So Moses and Aaron, they astonished, and Joshua and Caleb, they done ripped their clothes off, because they couldn't believe that the people wanted to go back into Egypt. They're going to appoint a captain to go back into bondage. You know, they didn't realize what the Lord had done for them. Took them from the land of Egypt, beat down the Egyptians, took them through the Red Sea. When they came out of Egypt, he gave them riches. All of this he did for them. Then he told them, look, go search this land out. I'm getting ready to give y'all this land. But y'all go and search it out. They came, and Joshua and Caleb, like, you know, we saw men that was carrying grapes. You know, two men had to carry the vegetation. Everything was good. The land is good. The people are like giants. Joshua and Caleb was like, we can go take it. We can go take it. The Lord was giving it to him. He had already beat down the Egyptians. What makes you think? What made them think that he wouldn't beat down these people and take this land? Joshua and Caleb, they was like, let's go take it. We can do this.
Yes, sir.
But the rest of the people were scared because the people were giants in the land. So this upset the Lord. This upset Moses. This upset Aaron. This upset Joshua and Caleb. And it upset the Lord. Look what happened. Go ahead and read.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceedingly good land.
See, this say this is a good land. Go ahead and read.
If the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it us.
Now he already had promised it to them though. He told them they were gonna get this land. And then now he telling the people, look, if the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into this land. Just like he brought them out of the land of Egypt, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Beat all the Egyptians down. They was urgent for them to get, y'all get out of here. And Pharaoh saw it blessed me too. But go ahead and read. See, they didn't have no faith in the Lord. Go ahead and read though.
And give it us a land which floweth with milk and honey.
Uh-huh.
Only rebel not ye against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land.
Now he told them, don't fear the people of the land. Don't rebel against the Lord. Go ahead and read.
For they are bread for us.
You see what he said? They are bread for us. We can go take this land. We can eat them up. Come on. Go ahead and read.
Yes,
Keep
sir.
reading. We're going to read on through this. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Their defense is departed from them.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord is with us. Fear them not.
Go ahead.
But all the congregation bade stone them with stones.
Look at this right here. You know, the congregation said, no, we're going to stone y'all. Joshua and Caleb and Moses, they like, come on, we can go and take this land. They said, no, we're going to stone y'all. we going back to Egypt. But we're going to stone y'all first, though. Go ahead and read.
Bade stone with stones, and the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? How long will it be ere there be, and how long will it be ere they believe me?
Uh-huh.
For all the signs which I have showed among them,
Go ahead.
I will smite them with the pestilence, and disinherit them, and I will make of thee a greater nation and mightier than they.
You see that? He said, I'm going to kill everybody, and then I'm going to make of you, Moses, a greater nation than they. Because he only need Moses and a woman, don't he? So he said, I'm going to kill all of them. And I'm going to make of you, Moses, a greater nation. Skip down to verse 17 and read.
17. And now I beseech thee, let the power of my Lord be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying,
Uh-huh.
the Lord is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression.
Now this is Moses pleading with the Lord. Now don't do this. Because the Egyptians are going to say this, and the people are going to think this, and, you know, so Moses pleading with the Lord for the people. Go ahead and read.
And by no means clearing the guilty,
Uh-huh.
visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation.
Go ahead.
Pardon, I beseech thee, the iniquities of these people according unto the greatness of thy mercy.
Uh-huh.
And as thou hast forgiven this people from Egypt even until now.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said, I have pardoned according to thy word.
You see that? He said, I have pardoned according to thy word. Because if Moses had pleaded for the people to the Lord, he probably would have killed them all. But Moses pleaded with me. He said, okay, Moses, I'm going to pardon the people. Skip down to verse 28 and read.
Say unto them,
Uh-huh.
as truly as I live, said the Lord, as ye have spoken in mine ears,
Uh-huh.
so will I do to you.
Go ahead.
Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness,
Uh-huh.
and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number,